If there is a chance of something going wrong, it will go wrong, even at the worst possible time and in the worst possible way. If everything is going well in your life, there must be something wrong. When you are stuck in traffic, as soon as you move to the next lane, that lane is blocked and the previous lane starts moving forward. If the bread you spread with butter falls to the floor, the buttered part usually falls. If you have experienced at least one of these things, you have come across one of Murphy's laws because he says all these things, not me. So who is this Murphy, and why does he always come to mind in times of negative situations?
Find a gear, dumbass.
Grind it.
Shut it, punk!
What'd you do, Murph?
She didn't do nothing. Blew the tires off.
Murphy's Law.
Shut up!
In 1949, it was decided to conduct a very expensive experiment to measure the physiological reactions of the human body to acceleration, and a volunteer subject was selected for this. Briefly, the content of the experiment is as follows. You put this volunteer in a rocket that goes faster than sound, then you place various sensors on it and the measurements do the rest. When the sensors are installed, someone connects the cables incorrectly and the experiment gives completely wrong results because it was not checked beforehand. Even today, it is a matter of debate whether the cables were given to the technician incorrectly or whether they were connected completely backwards. But after the experiment, everyone blames the engineer responsible for the measuring instruments. The name of this engineer is Edward Murphy, known for his famous laws. They asked Murphy, "Why is the result like this? What is the source of the problem?" And Murphy responded with the famous statement, "What can go wrong will go wrong." The most interesting part of the story is that Edward Murphy never made this saying a law. Do you know who gave the name Murphy's Law to such situations? The person who volunteered for the experiment was Dr. Stepp himself. This man is both brave and well aware, because when they say Murphy's Law, they provide themselves with a kind of defense mechanism in case of a possible failure. And Dr. Stepp was aware that this experiment was not the last, and that there was a possibility that many other experiments would fail in the future. In short, if something goes wrong and results in failure, Murphy's Law is at work again.
So what can go wrong will go wrong. That's Murphy's Law. And if you're
As you can see, these laws, it has become a different strategy to avoid mistakes. In fact, we can say that this concept, which has become popular in the last 70 years, has been around for a very long time. For example, let's take a look at a statement that the part of the bread that always has butter falls to the ground. This example did not appear in Murphy's time, as you might think, but in a newspaper article published in Ohio in 1841. On the scientific side, there have been many studies on these laws, but none of them have been able to disprove or prove Murphy's laws. For example, although some scientists have explained that toast falling from a standard-sized table at any normal speed will make exactly half a turn before hitting the floor, so the buttered part of the toast will hit the floor. Paul Soper from the University of Reading conducted a buttered toast experiment in which a large number of toast slices were randomly rotated on a floor, and the result showed that about 50% of the toasts fell on the buttered side. However, Murphy's Law shows that the toasts should fall more often in this way. On the other hand, many people say that there is a big difference between the calculations and what actually happens, so there seems to be no conclusive evidence. Another interesting fact is that from startups to many of the world's largest companies, all of them are consciously implementing the strategy arising from this concept. When developing their own products and services, they take into account all possible negative scenarios. This is called pre-mortem, that is, pre-calculations against bad possibilities. If Murphy is at work, what problems can we expect to face? The logical thing is that they question these problems in advance, not at the end.
Why did you and Mom name me after something that's bad?
Well, we didn't.
Murphy's Law.
Murphy's Law doesn't mean that something bad will happen. What it means is that whatever can happen will happen, and that sounded just fine with us.
The lesson here is this. Murphy may be a name that reminds us that we should be knowledgeable about the things we will do wrong before the bad event happens. Of course, it's not that everything will end badly. It's just that starting a business without measuring it is like counting after cutting the ear of a rabbit. Returning to the experiment, although there was a big setback as a result, this setback caused Dr. Stepp, who volunteered for such experiments, to become the fastest man in the world for a while and stay on the line for a long time, because a possible setback in other experiments could have cost him his life, and so he started designing puppets to be used for these experiments. Maybe if that experiment had been successful, the setback in the next one could have caused any volunteer to die.
You ever have one of those days when every law is Murphy's law? Everything's going wrong and everybody wants to kill you for something.
Now I have selected and listed a few of the most famous Murphy's Laws for you to think about this subject. After our video is over, don't forget to write your own personal experiences and thoughts in the comments. Whenever you give up something, it will come back to you. Every problem solved creates new problems. Nothing is as easy as it seems. When a broken tool is taken for repair, it works. The most beautiful things are either illegal, immoral, or fattening. When you are going on a trip, you use half the clothes you need and twice the money you need. Whenever you turn on the radio, your favorite music is about to end. Needs always increase when money decreases. The number you accidentally ring will never ring busy. When you throw away or delete something you think you won't need, you will need it sooner or later. It is not always the times of studying, but the times of not studying that are noticed. The more you want to protect something, the more likely it is to be damaged. The more you plan something in advance, the more likely it is to go wrong. It is not possible to please everyone. When you say the bus won't come and light a cigarette or take a taxi, the bus will come. I'm sure you've had some of these bad experiences in your daily life, but I'll let you decide if they have anything to do with Murphy. See you in the next video.